Step right up, let's take the dive. Crypto world is coming alive. From XRP to the blockchain beat. Join the crew, we're pioneers meet. Got builders, dreamers, paving the way. Multi-chain vibes, we're here to stay. Wanna know? Don't wait, let's go. Dip a toe, join the Web3 flow. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. That's a crypto dance. Faces of crypto, stories we share. Early adopters, they're everywhere. From XRPL to the Web3 wave. Bold moves, only we're here to pave. Melissa and Simon, they light the way. Every week it's a crypto play. Wanna know? Don't wait, let's go. Dip a toe, join the Web3 flow. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. Just a spark to ignite. Do your research, keep your vision tight. Community strong, we're building the way. Dip a toe show, here to stay. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. Don't take a chance, don't be shy. Crypto's calling, we're reaching the sky. Join the movement, come take a look. Web3's rising, the world's been shook. Ooh.
The world's been shook. Ooh. Welcome to Dip a Toe, everybody. Unfortunately, our sidekick Simon is not in the house this evening, but he will be back next week. Tonight, I'm excited to talk about Flare. We haven't. There's a lot of people in here that we know a little bit about Flare, but we don't know exactly what it is, myself included. And so I'm excited to be talking about it. But before we move on with that, I want to welcome everybody that is watching Dip a Toe Show tonight. There's 22 of you in here. Would you please like, share, and subscribe? Share this out. We've got our friend Silver Days XRP, who's never disappoints and comes into the show way earlier than anybody else. We love you, Silver. Thank you so much for your support. We also have Texas Guns in the house this evening, and our good friend K Buddy Kelly. Thank you so much. Our wonderful friend Makita, Miss Kita, she is in the house. Thank you for coming this evening, Kita. And who else? We have Florida Man Landscaping, our friend Jay. Thank you, guys. Blue Bus Driver is in the house. Good evening, brothers and sisters in Christ. Hope your day's been blessed. Mine's been blessed. I've been a little under the weather, to be honest, guys. I'm doing my best here. And then, of course, Simon has his issue going on. And so it has kind of been a crazy day today, but we're going to push through it, and definitely looking forward to this conversation. Trisso, we love you. Thank you so much for coming, my friend. Matt Riley's in the house. Becky Forbes. I don't know how to say this. Jusua-sama. Thank you for coming to the show. XRP Renegade. Marvin Davis, Flare Forward. Oh, you love our intro. I love you for saying that. Thank you. I wrote that song and then used Suno. And there's 4 different versions of it. And I just love it. I love the way it turned out. And it would be awesome to find somebody to actually sing it like for real, because it's so awesome to me. But yeah, it kind of really encompasses the Dip a Toe show too. So I'm really excited about that. In any event, I'm not used to doing the show completely by myself, but you know what? I love it. I think it's going to be fine. So let's start off with the intro to this show. I want to tell you tonight we're talking about the game-changing Flare that adds value to the XRP, transforming it from a high-speed payment asset into a DeFi powerhouse through FXRP, which is wrapped XRP on Flare. This enables holders to tap into lending, staking, liquidity provision, and more via the overcollateralized FAssets system, all while boosting XRP ledger activity with every bridge. Tonight, I am pleased to announce we have two special guests joining us. Enrique, better known as Señor Whale or Flare Forward, the DeFi deep diver who's revolutionized how we track and optimize crypto portfolios as the mastermind behind innovative tools like DeFi University and advanced portfolio trackers. Enrique brings his sharp insights on liquidity strategies and data-driven DeFi plays straight from the front lines of Flare's ecosystem. And joining him is Steve, better known as Steve the Flare Specialist and go-to authority for cutting through the complexity of Flare's groundbreaking tech, whether it's unpacking the state connectors, cross-chain magic, or decoding FTSO's decentralized data feeds. Steve has demystified Flare for thousands of XRP holders looking to bridge into DeFi without missing a beat. So I am pleased to welcome both Enrique, Flare Forward, and our friend Steve to the Dip a Toe show. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, Melissa.
How are you? Good evening.
I'm fantastic. I am fantastic. This is a conversation that I've wanted to have for so long because I've been in the XR community for years. I heard all the buzz with the flare drops and the snapshot and all of that. I did not participate in those airdrops. I know a lot of people foolishly sold them right away as soon as they got the drops. Some people didn't get their drops at all. And so, there was a bunch of hoopla surrounding Flare. And I don't know much about it other than I know that it is a tool that folks that hold XRP can tap into. So I'm really excited to have this conversation. But before we begin, I would like to have you both tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll start with Steve and then go to Enrique. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what got you into the Flare ecosystem.
Sure, absolutely. Well, good evening. Thanks for the space. Thanks for the opportunity to be here and to talk about Flare and XRPFI. So I've been around since 2020. Clubhouse got me into crypto. I was sitting there with nothing to do, listening to a podcast. They mentioned XRP. And they said it was something like Bitcoin. So I started doing research, ended up on Twitter, ended up in Clubhouse, and then I became an XRP holder since then. So that was before the snapshot in December of 2020. And I'm a degen in life, right? I'm high risk, high reward, and roll the dice. And crypto is just perfect for me. And then XRP, in that most XRP people are hodlers, it was also good for me as well. But I'm a commercial real estate agent. Was a home loan lender for many years, and now I'm still a commercial agent, but I'm also a specialist in Flare. I've been studying Flare since 2020, since it was announced, and so I've just been hodling XRP, waiting for the day that I could use that XRP and earn some yield. Waiting for the day, the opportunity that Flare came around, and so. Now, because I've been studying it, because I've been doing research, I have a son, and I got him his wallet, and I wanted him to be able to do the same things. So I started doing videos and sending it to him. And I decided to share with everyone else. So that's how I became Steve, the Flare specialist. And on Twitter, it's for home loan, but that's me.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I've actually, that was part of the reason for starting Dip-a-Toe, as you're just trying to help other people, inspire other people to learn and not have to tell people a couple of times over, right? So you forever documented your journey. And you can always tell your son, he's got a question, go watch my show, go watch my my video. So good on you for that. That's fantastic. And I never was part of that Clubhouse scene, but I know a lot of people that were. And it's interesting. You were on Clubhouse for other reasons other than crypto. And I thought, when I heard about Clubhouse, I thought it was because of crypto that people are in Clubhouse. So that's all new to me, knowing that, there are different groups. So silly me, I had no idea that there was something else besides that for, people were on there for other reasons besides crypto. So Enrique, Señor Whale. Yeah. Welcome to the Dip-a-Toe Show, Mr. Flare Forward, aka Señor Whale. How are you doing this evening?
I'm great, Melissa. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm super honored to be here. But before we commence, I have a really serious question for you.
Okay.
What do you mean sing that song for real? Like, it's amazing. I don't know what you would change for that. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. No, because that was created with Suno, and I had to put in just all the elements that I wanted, for it to sound. So it's an AI singing, but I would love to hear a person singing it. Because it's singable. It's so singable.
Right. Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I think I'm going to be in the shower singing it later today.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love it.
Wait till you hear the 3 other versions. They're super fire as well. So it's so cool. I appreciate you liking the song.
Of course.
But tell us about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Enrique. I've been in crypto since 2020 during the pandemic. I had a bad neck injury, and I got into crypto. I started following XRP, and I saw something deeper than what was just being shown on YouTube and on X. And I could see everybody disagreeing about XRP, but I could see that there was something more. So that started my journey. And I mean, I'm a lawyer, but I've done extreme sports most of my life. I did paragliding professionally for 7 years. Then I did wedding photography. Then I taught freediving as well for a while. Then I became an art teacher. And now I'm doing DeFi. So I've been all over the place, but whenever I get passionate about something, I go super deep. And yeah, since the last year and a half, I started really going deep into DeFi. I really wanted to explore it and understand it. I live in Mexico, so the wages here are not very big. So I understood that if I really learned this, I could make more money than I could working here. And it's been a great journey. And they say that the best way to learn is to teach. So I started my YouTube channel, and I wanted to do super short videos to the point where I was just tutorials. This is how you use this protocol. These are the principles. This is the basics. And then it's just been a great journey that started. And then I met my business partner, Steven, not the same Steve we have in the room today, another Steven. And then he was like, hey, why don't we do a podcast? So we started doing a podcast. We interview Hugo a couple times, and then other people in the Flare community and the XRP community as well. And then we decided to start an app. So we are doing a DeFi tracker where you can follow. I can show you later, but you can track all your wallets, all your assets, have a profit strategy, track your borrow and lending, your liquidity pools, just basically creating tools that make my life easier. I wanted to share, I'm creating a solution for myself, and I realized that that's a product in itself. And then, yeah, here we are.
Fantastic. Well, yeah. And your material is straightforward too. So if anybody, both of you guys, if anybody stumbles upon your channels, you do provide really good information, really clear information and conversation. And so that's why I was excited to have you both on, because I know that you're going to be able to explain us to us like we're five. And that's something that that sometimes I need it explained to me like I'm a 5-year-old. So for someone who's never heard of Flare before, can you define it in one clear sentence or
Oh, someone's
try to answer
rogging.
that? Oh, that's
I think
probably
you rogged a little bit, Melissa.
I did rug. I don't know why. You know, every time that Melissa has a super fire interview with someone, something happens with my internet. It's so crazy. The question was, for someone who's never heard of Flare before, can you define it easily as in one clear phrase? What problem does it solve in the blockchain space? Either one. We can start with Whale, and then we'll go to Steve.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, Flare, it's a EVM chain, a layer 1 chain. EVM means the Ethereum virtual machine, which is the code that it gets used to create smart contracts on Web3. The difference that the unique thing that Flare has is that the oracles are enshrined. What this means is that the oracles are part of the protocol. So you have chains like Chainlink, which is a layer 2 from Ethereum, and then the oracles are programs that are built on top of the blockchain. Flare has its oracles built into the security and the functioning of Flare. So if Flare is working, that means that the oracles are working. And I think that without going too much into depth, that creates decentralized data. And a clear example, a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, we had massive liquidations and we had a lot of oracles failing. And Flare, the way that it works is that you have 100 validators pushing data. If the 100 validators agree that that data is good, it gets pushed into the network. So there's very little room for manipulation. And what this means is when you have financial products and value on decentralized finance products, bad data can create a cascade of events. So one thing that happened is that like everybody was panicking and the collapse and the liquidation and everything, and protocols were being shut down all over the place. I was entering liquidity pools 5 minutes later because I saw that there was very little liquidity at that range and that it was a good opportunity. So, I mean, I was talking with other people and they didn't even think about how Flare was just working. And I think that is very valuable because the integrity of data for this, quick example, you lend your XRP and then one oracle says that XRP is much lower, that can trigger a liquidation cascading event. So with Flare, you can guarantee that the price that is being pushed into the chain, it's decentralized and it's agreed by the whole Flare validation or consensus. So that makes it very powerful. Do you want to add something, Steve?
Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit more. Steve, what do you have to add? One of the things that popped in my head right away for the Dipper-toers, what the heck is an oracle?
Yeah, I do have one quick statement, and then we can dive into that oracle. But you know, for me, when I hear Flare described, what comes to mind is it's an economic union and an economic utility for tokens. You know, bringing those tokens, whether it's a non-smart contract token like XRP or a smart contract token, bringing those together, that union, right? So Flare has had a number of taglines since launch. You know, it was the blockchain for data. It was all the data and all the money, and really the idea is bridging opportunities from an economic perspective to use those tokens to get maximum utility out of your token. And that's what Flare is about. It's about not only smart contract, but non-smart contract. And there's a lot of money out there in the non-smart contract world. We know XRP is one of those, BTC, Ethereum is not, but you know, we've got XLM, you know, so there's a lot of money out there for non-smart contract tokens, and they have have no true utility per se, and that's what Flare is about, trying to give them utilities.
Oh,
Is he there?
Yep. You're starting to cut in and out. Can you explain what an oracle is? Yeah, you are, unfortunately.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah. So the challenge with any blockchain is, obviously a blockchain is secure. It's a closed protocol. The challenge is how do I get that real world data and use that data to where it can be used in the blockchain? And the responsibility of an oracle is to do just that, is to safely and securely bring outside of the blockchain world data, real world data, right? RWA, we've heard those terminologies, pricing, things of that nature, states, conditions, to take that data, bring it safely and securely into the blockchain. Well, that's the job of an oracle. That's what Chainlink does right now. Everyone knows Chainlink, right? Because that's in the Ethereum world. Well, Flare obviously has built that component, that protocol into the blockchain itself. The oracles are built in, so you don't have to go to a Chainlink and say, hey, go get me some data, check it, bring it in. Flare has that automatically built into within this protocol, to where there's the oracles, there's an FTC, which is a state or data connector, which we'll talk more about. But the oracle is all about how do you get data into the blockchain so they can be utilized. That's the job of an oracle. Flare has it built in to their protocol.
Yeah, they're basically witnesses. Like that could be another word for an oracle. They're witnesses. So, for example, let's say that Melissa wants to send Steve some XRP on the XRP ledger. Flare has the capacity to observe and prove on chain that Melissa did send Steve that money, to keep it very simple. So basically, oracles are witnesses, and the thing that Flare has is that can do it for on-chain events. That means for other blockchains or Flare itself, or for off-chain events that can be data from a Web2 platform, for example. So let's say that you want to buy a ticket. The website can say, okay, Web2, we're going to buy a ticket. The payment gets processed. The oracles verifies the payment, and then sends that information back to the website and prove that that payment has gone through. So just with the witnesses is an easy word for this, I think.
What's the single most common question you get from XRP holders that are new to Flare? Like, what's the most common question you guys get? Whoever wants
Where's
to
the
go
yield
first.
come from? Where's the yield come from?
Yeah, and we can go into that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll go into it later. So it definitely it's all about the money is what the main questions are.
I'm not giving up my custody.
Right.
I'm not giving up my custody. Can I do it on my ledger?
Yeah. That would be my question too. Is like, the thought of changing my XRP into FXRP makes me go, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. So, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So I want to move on to explain Flare. So from what I know, Flare is a layer 1 blockchain. What exactly does that mean? How does it focus on data intensive use cases like secure data feeds, and for apps like you were talking about the secure data feeds? How does that differ from other blockchains like Ethereum? So I don't know if you want to go first.
Speak to that since we're talking. Yeah, let Whale kind of speak to that, because he was already kind of talking to that, and that's probably a good thing for him to build on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So Ethereum, the thing is that it's programmable money. Like Ethereum, what it did, and it's great, is that they created the Solidity language, which is the programming language that gets used to write smart contracts. The problem with Ethereum, as we know, is that it's pretty slow and it's pretty expensive. So one thing that Flare has, which is an incredible thing, and it's something that I always tell people, Flare is a great place to learn things about blockchain because it's fast and it's cheap. It's as cheap and as fast as the XRP ledger. So basically what Flare did is, okay, we're going to use the technology from Ethereum. We're going to use the speed of the XRP ledger. And I think they use the consensus from Avalanche. So it's like a little hybrid blockchain that gets the best of different blockchains and puts them together. So if you want to learn things about blockchain, Flare is a great place because you can literally start with $5 and do hundreds of transactions and you still have change. My DeFi journey on Ethereum would have been hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like sometimes I do more than 100 transactions in a day. And if I was paying $5 every transaction, like you can add it up. It's crazy. So
Yeah,
Flare has
very
been a great
expensive.
place for me to learn about different things. Now I'm starting to do a little bit of programming on Web3 as well. So it's been a great place for me to learn. And then the good thing is that if you learn there, if I want to go to Sui, I can go there and I can figure it out in seconds because like all the DeFi platforms have the same principles, even if the UI, the user interface is a little bit different.
Yeah, I feel you. It's like accounting software. Once you learn one, it's kind of intuitive. You kind of know where things should be, how they work, and so that kind of resonates with me as well. Steve, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think he did a good job. Again, just highlighting the fact that, being a layer one, Flare is different because it has built-in, the
You're cutting out.
in
You're cutting out, unfortunately.
bridges, if you will, right? That's the FAssets built-in. Am I rugging? I'm going to answer this question, then I'm going to flip over to my mode. It has built-in.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool.
You
Right,
probably got to switch to your phone. Yep.
I will. Go ahead.
All right, no worries.
Okay, I can take over real quick. So one thing that Flare is trying to do is that decentralized finance, we have to think that these blockchains are new economies. So DeFi or decentralized finance, Flare or Anugo wants to make it that is the backbone of the Flare ecosystem. That is where the economic value comes from. So if you have an ecosystem that can sustain itself, then everything else that get built on top is economically sustainable. So that is the part that is happening. So DeFi is one part, and then the oracles and the verifiable data, it's another part. And like there's so many rabbit holes that you could go. So it's kind of hard to talk about one aspect of Flare because there are use cases that I'm sure that like in 5 years we haven't even thought about them.
Let's get them back in here.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly now.
Yeah,
Awesome.
much better.
Can you just re-say what you said before you started rugging?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry about that.
No worries.
We did plan for a contingency backup.
Yeah.
I was just saying that Flare being a layer one, how they're different is the built-in bridges and data connectors. Whale talked about that, how it's already built in within the network, which is significantly different than any other layer one out there, layer two, or whatever layer you want to go to. That's the differentiator with Flare.
Okay. And Enrique, you were talking about developing, like building, learning how to code on it. So one of my questions is, if Flare is EVM compatible, how does it allow developers to build smart contracts without starting from scratch? Or is that a true statement or not? I don't know.
Well, so there's two parts to that question. One is that because it's EVM compatible, that means that any project that is on Arbitrum, Polygon, Ethereum, whatever other chains, they can migrate and start on Flare pretty quickly because the language is the same language. They both speak Japanese, if you will.
Right. Okay.
So that makes the migration for a developer or a project on another chain to come into Flare very easy. It's not like what's the name of the Stellar? Oh, I forgot right now. But well, Stellar
XLM?
has its own XLM, but they have like a programming language in there. I can't remember exactly what's the name.
I can't remember it either.
Anyways, that is a completely different language. Sui has a completely different language. So it's like one is talking Japanese and the other one is talking Spanish. So Flare has that advantage that speaks the same language as where most of the projects are currently, which is Ethereum and its layer 2s. Now, for somebody starting, I'm doing projects that are small and that are not public because unfortunately smart contracts have vulnerabilities. And right now I do not have the funds to be able to pay for audits. So everything that I'm doing, it's more like a learning process where I do little side projects. I figure it out. I do it in a private repo. I'm not sharing my keys. No one's connecting to my programs. And it's just been a way for me to understand further how things work inside the Flare network.
That makes sense. So how does Flare's design ensure that it's secure and scalable for real world applications, especially compared to XRP's payment focus? So if you're building something on Flare, how does it ensure that it's secure and scalable? Do you know?
Well, the thing is that Flare is a protocol in reality. Like you have Flare Foundation, which is akin to Ripple, which is a private centralized company. And then you have Flare Network, which is a decentralized blockchain, the same way that the XRP ledger is decentralized. There's no CEO, there's all the decentralization. So Flare Networks does not really enforce that the users or the programmers have to be secure. Like ultimately, it's the responsibility of the programmer to make sure that if you're working with other people's money, that they take every single step available to make it secure. So that's programs happening on the Flare networks. Now, if we talk about the protocols that the Flare Foundation is launching on Flare, that's a different story. So Steve was talking about the FAssets system, which is a bridge from non-smart contract chains into the Flare networks. Flare, and that's been one of the biggest criticisms of Flare, is that it takes forever to launch FXRP. And the thing is that they went first on the Canary network, which is called Songbird, and they tested, they made the mistakes and found out the bugs and the things that could be improved. They changed it, they made other audits, then it's been a long journey of testing, improving, polishing, doing audits, and making sure. Hugo has said many times that for him it's extremely important that when he's working with other people's money, that they are doing absolutely everything that it's in their power to make sure that it's as secure as possible. Does that mean that it's foolproof and that there's absolutely nothing that could happen? I don't think we will ever get to that point, but there is a difference between launching a product in a week than taking over 4 years to make sure that your product is the best. And in my experience, the FAssets system has been incredible. I had a bad experience with other XRP product just earlier today where they say redeem in 2 days and it was a week and I wasn't getting my XRP back. And with Flare, I don't even think about it. I've been in and out many times. I can show you guys later, do a little demo about it. So it just gives me the trust that I can bring my hard-earned XRP and then create yield with it. And that yield is not automatic. There is risk, of course. And I think at this point, the risk is more user-based than the protocol-based. Like you can make mistakes and lose money, but it's different than somebody else making a mistake and then you don't even see it coming.
Let's circle back for a second. So you mentioned something that I think could help end some confusion for some folks. So you mentioned Songbird. And for my little bit of research that I did, and you mentioned about it being a test, the tester for Flare. And so folks went on, used Songbird, they were working out their bugs. Can you guys expand on that, Steve? Do you know about the Songbird and that being the test net, or I don't know if I'm even saying that correct, the test pilot to learn how to use Flare and that, so that's one part of my question. The other part is probably all the way back to the beginning that I didn't ask you, is how long Flare has been around for and building all these things. And then we had an airdrop, and then we had Songbird come into play, and there was all the shillers talking about it and all of this. Tell me what you know.
Yeah. So Flare obviously has been around. We know the airdrop, or the snapshot rather, happened in 2020, 12/12/20. Obviously, we've heard Hugo just recently speak about, how him and David Katz spoke, I think, going back into 2018. So we know conceptually, Flare has, at least in concept, been around for quite some time. But obviously, everything really started with the snapshot, and then the Flare drops, which, by the way, those Flare drops are coming to an end in January 2026. You got 3 left. So I would get you some Flare Rapid and delegated and get you some of those Flare drops. But your other question that you asked about Songbird. So Songbird, and it's a distinction. It is a canary network. It's not really per se a test network, because there is a test network already for both Songbird and Flare. But canary is, hey, this is live. We want to use it and test things with real money. And we know when there's real money involved, you got different reactions, you got different experiences. In a test environment, anyone can simulate things, but it's real money when real money's on the line, when you really get to see the stress testing of certain protocols and dApps and things of that nature. So Canary Network Songbird is the Canary Network for Flare. And the builders, one shout out to Enosis, who has been there, in some form or fashion since day one. But Enosis has been one that has been building over on Songbird since day one, right? And so, what we're talking about is as Flare, the foundation, is rolling out different protocols and different things of that nature, they're running those through Songbird. There has been a lot of consternation and a lot of hesitation and frustration from some members in the community, because there are some other dApps that don't test on Songbird's Canary Network. And they don't do that for a very specific reason. It's completely different recode, and it's expensive. It costs money, right? So, a lot of people have gotten upset because some of the dApps and some of these things that have launched on Flare didn't go through Songbird. But at the end of the day, all of the big stuff that's coming out, the important stuff, it's going through Songbird. Anything coming out of Flare Labs is going to go through Songbird. And so it is a Canary Network live test environment with real money. It's not just a test net by any means. Well, you can go ahead and add anything I missed up.
No, I think it was very accurate, and I'm glad that you brought up the testing on the Canary Network Songbird, because one thing that was very clear is that Flare Foundation, they said that every single thing that they launch is going to go the Songbird Test Network, Songbird, Flare Test Network, and then Flare Mainnet. That does not mean that other people have to be launching on Songbird. And there's many reasons. One of them is the cost of actually deploying and doing everything on a different network. But the other part is that, for example, Songbird does not have USDT 0. There is not that much liquidity. There's no market. So how do you test a borrowing and lending platform if there's no stable coins to deposit and borrow and mess up? So people will complain about things always. I think that, I don't know. I feel like there's people that understand the tech but don't understand economics, and some people understand economics but don't understand the tech. And I see that in other communities. I'm not going to name them, but it's more complex than it seems. And as, for example, borrowing and lending on Flare, on Kinetic, people complain that why are the borrowing caps reached all the time? Well, they are there because they're keeping the protocol safe. There have to be certain parameters based on the risk that they can study and check. And that's the difference between having a protocol that goes underwater when there's a little bit of red on the markets and a protocol that keeps working with nothing. So, I hold to very high standards because I have my hard-earned money and I'm very involved. I'm connected with most of them. I'm moderating most of the groups on the Flare network. So I have the back-end conversations and the front-end conversations. And I mean, I have all my Flare on Kinetic, for example, the borrowing and lending, and my XRP as well. And then I grab capital from there and I put it to work somewhere else. And like, if Flare went under, like I would be under completely. Like that is the level of trust that I have on the system that it's being built. And that trust, not because Hugo is saying nice words, it's because I have tested and used the network, and I feel comfortable because I feel like I can tell you whatever, but you going and using it is going to be the best proof that this works. And that's the same thing that got me into the XRP ledger. I used the XRP ledger and I realized how, even though it's boring, and that's the problem with XRP, that it's boring, it's not exciting.
Oh, it's sexy. What are you trying to say? Come on now.
It works. And you know what? I'd rather have a blockchain that works and that is reliable than have 15,000% APRs on Fartcoin. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think that there's a difference between people saying, oh, let's become our own banks, the future of finance, but they're acting like irresponsible kids betting on the fastest turtle in high school. I don't know. I feel like there has to be a difference. And I think that sometimes the things that are boring are the things that work. And Flare does not fluff, and they're not like screaming all the things that they do. But then when we have a crash like we did last month, it works. It keeps working. Everybody's business as usual. And in my opinion, that's way more valuable than shiny things that everybody's hyped about. Like, I think less hype and more seriousness is what we need in this space.
Sometimes you need that vanilla ice cream. You know what I mean? The staple. It goes with everything, really. All kinds of sweet treats. You can add a little vanilla ice cream to, and it makes it like all the much better. So I would like
to. I would like to go a little bit deeper on what Steve was saying about the airdrop. Initially, the idea was that the airdrop was going to go for XRP holders. You would get 15%, and then over 36 months, you would get the rest. And then when Flare launched, there was a community vote to change it. So instead of giving it to people that have no interest on the network, they said, okay, so if you have Flare and then you wrap it, wrapping Flare means that Flare is gas. Like naked Flare is gas, the same way as XRP. Now, if you want to use it, as a smart contract token, then you have to wrap it. Okay? So if you wrap it, you get the delegations. And that means that if somebody's selling Flare and you buy it, then you have the rights to that distribution. So instead of sending it to people that have absolutely no interest on the Flare networks, they said, okay, why don't we distribute Flare to the people that are actually interested in using and learning this network? So you talk about the vanilla. I've been enjoying over 50% APR just by delegating and wrapping my Flare for the last 3 years. Like, if that is not vanilla, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just been insane. And the people that have been paying attention, I mean, a year ago, we were getting paid to borrow money and put it to work in DeFi. Like, at some point, people are going to look back and be like, what? You were getting paid to borrow money and put it to work so you get more paid? It's just insane. So, yeah.
Yeah, early adopter, early beta tester of these sort of thing. When I was talking with Steve at the behind the scenes of the show is, I heard of a lot of folks talking about Flare, and they got their Flare drop and their Songbird, and then there was all the shillers. Just, it was all about the price, and I didn't know anything about it at the time, but I thought to myself, well, they're not just dropping this to you for no reason, right? There's nothing in life for free. And I was thinking they must be wanting them to use it, but I didn't know. I didn't exactly know. And so, learning a little bit more and talking with you guys, it's like, Yeah, they probably had the expectations that the folks that were airdropped the Flare or the Songbird, that they were going to test it out. They were giving the opportunity to understand how it works, right? Am I wrong, or is that it? Was that? Do you think that was the thought process behind dropping it to people?
For sure. I mean, Songbird, from an investment perspective, has been a really bad investment for me. There was a pump. It went to like 60 cents for another airdrop, and I bought, and I saw it drop. I remember exactly that moment. I had the Songbird on the exchange, and I didn't sell. So that was a bad move. Like, that was like a basic crypto pump and dump, and it wasn't Flare doing it. It was just users understanding how this works. We were coming into the bear market. So from a investing perspective, Songbird was a bad move for me. From the lessons and the learning that I've had from that has more than quadruple in experience. So Songbird, that was a great place to make mistakes. You have a token that you got for free. I bought, nobody forced me to buy, but if I could have worked with what I got airdropped, and I could have learned the same thing. I was just new to crypto. Like there's no experience. So it's just experience. And I think that that's the thing. It's like they gave you a free token that you can learn, that you can experiment and make mistakes with a free token. Once you feel more comfortable, then you can start putting more value. And that's the way to go about it.
Steve, what's your take?
Yeah, and those Flare drops were all about, getting the users to engage in the network, to reward retention of users. The Flare drops are a retention incentive. If you think about it, right, it's consistent over the course of 3 years. That is designed to retain you as a user, as a token holder, and to get you to use it. And I think that's also one of the things that differentiates Flare, because typically when I've had cryptos in the past, I've had one option. The primary option was to wait until it goes to the moon. That was the primary utility for most of my tokens. Some of them were SHXT tokens. Some of them were pretty tokens like XRP, but mostly the utility was waiting for it to go to the moon. Well, in the Flare ecosystem, one of the things that I think stands out for me is the FLR, the Wrap Flare, S-Flare, whatever. It's an and token. It's not an or. It's an and token. And what I mean by that is you can use it and you can use it someplace else in the Flare ecosystem, which gives you the opportunity for multiple yield earning opportunities and capabilities, right? Most tokens, you can just stake it. Most tokens, you can just LP it. And then your use case or your ability to use that token is done. In Flare, we have the ability to use it in multiple dApps, right? We could delegate the token to one of the delegators, earn rewards, and then we can still use that over in another protocol and earn more rewards. So it is the ultimate and token. So the Flare drops gave us an opportunity to, one, stay engaged in the network, two, use the token, start experimenting, using the token and seeing the ways we can benefit. And what we're finding, Melissa, is that we've got a high yield bearing crypto token. It's a very high yield bearing token. It's one that has multiple use cases and utility. It's a gas token. It secures the network, and it's a high yield bearing token. So that's kind of what I've learned since the Flare drop experience. I understand the model because people want to come in and get out quickly. This is different, right? This is about, there's many ways to use your token and many ways for you to benefit and gain some additional income. And that's really, I think, what I wanted to make sure and specify and point out about the Flare token. It's an and use token.
I have a question. So when I started learning about Flare, it was all from XRP people, right? Do you think that Flare and the Flare network was built with XRP in mind as being the asset? So, we hear a lot of arguments about the vanilla of XRP, people wanting to expand it with its capabilities of what it can do, the bells and whistles of all these other chains. And, what do they say? Jack of all trades, master of none type thing, right? And so the little bit of comprehension that I have about this, I see this as an asset to, and I mean like a complement to XRP and the XRP ledger and what you can do with it. Am I in the right realm of thinking here with that?
Yeah. Well, you want to go ahead and answer that first?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is not a competition for the XRP ledger. If anything, it expands the capabilities of XRP. And we've been having discussions about bringing smart contracts into the XRP ledger. And honestly, like how I'm seeing it, I go in and out of XRP to Flare and back to XRP ledger all the time. And this is becoming so easy and seamless that at some point, I don't know if it's necessary to change the structure of the XRP ledger, because the XRP ledger is great at what it does. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we need to have another market, if we have a successful DeFi protocol that can handle all of that things. So if you need the XRP for payments, you use the XRP ledger. Do you want the XRP for borrowing and lending or for liquidity pools? Then you use Flare. And I think that a lot of things are going to be in the backend. Like I feel like at some point, users are going to be doing things on different networks and they won't even know where they are. So Flare, it's releasing the Flare Smart accounts. Is that the name? Flare
Yes,
Smart.
Yeah, smart
yeah,
account.
Flare Smart accounts.
MWC.
So basically, you can execute actions on Flare from the XRP ledger. So you have your Shaman wallet, and you say, okay, I want to mint FXRP, and then everything happens on the back end. The next step of Flare, and that's going to be probably early next year, it's going to be Flare 2.0. So you're going to be able to execute transactions on the XRP ledger, on Bitcoin, on other networks from the Flare networks. And everything is going to be backed by the whole Flare consensus. So it's going to be extremely secure. And I think that what we are coming to is a complete chain abstraction where people don't even know what they're using. And I mean, the analogy that I always say is email. At some point, if you send an email from Hotmail to AOL, it could arrive or maybe not. Right now, we just send it. How does it work? I have no idea. I just send the email, and I know that the other person is
and
going
it
to
goes.
get it instant.
Yeah.
The other person receives it, and I think that that's what's going to happen. Like I see that in, I don't know if it's going to be 1 year, 5 years. At some point, people are going to be using different blockchains, and they won't even know that they're using crypto. And I think that that is the goal that we have to go. So I think that XRP, since I started understanding DeFi, for me, like holding assets that I can only hold on my wallet, it's becoming less and less interest. Like I have no desire of holding an asset. I'm just wishing for one day to have a moon day. For me, that's completely not like, that's just hopium in my opinion. And even if I know that that asset's going to be used and that one day it's going to be worth more, in my eyes, that's a liability. So XRP, I knew that Flare was going to be, I was going to be able to use XRP on Flare. So that's the one asset that I held. And I have been able to more than double my XRP holdings in the last year and a half, just by leveraging the power of Flare and understanding how this works. So I like I said before, by me working in real life, I would not be able to have this much XRP. And it's all relative, a lot or a little. Like I'm not saying that I have a lot of XRP or too little, but from where I was a year and a half ago,
You have more than you
right
started with. Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure. I have more Flare than I started with. I have more XRP than I started with. I think that the disclaimer here is that DeFi, as we have said, this is the future of finance. DeFi is a profession. And you can't expect to watch one 10-minute video and then become a master artist. Like if you want to become a successful artist and make a living from that, you have to spend days, hours, months, maybe years perfecting your craft until every piece that you make is a masterpiece and people are willing to pay a lot of money for that. So DeFi is no different. if you want to become successful at this, you need to spend time doing it. There are different levels of involvement where you can do certain things that are very basic, and the yield that comes with it is pretty basic, or you can go into full banker mode and make a killing. So it just kind of depends on how involved you want to be. Like I said at the beginning, for me, this is the best path forward that I can take from making a living and making money. It's much better than anything that I could do where I live. So I'm full-time DeFi. I'm learning every day. I make mistakes every day. I improve my process, and it's been great for me. Like I'm just happy, and I think that part of my mission with Flare Forward was to create a strong, educated community around DeFi, where we can all win because we're all making more good decisions than bad. Because if we bring, like the sharks, and we get all the people, and then we all eat them, then the party's over. And I don't think that's the deal. Like if we create a strong, educated community that are making good decisions, this can be a pie that can last a long time for a lot of people. And I think that would be great.
And we like a little vanilla ice cream with that pie. Steve,
Yeah.
Oh, you got a follow up to that.
I did real quick on that one. What level of involvement did Ripple have with Flare? Was Flare built to support XRP? I've never been a part of those discussions, but there's a couple things we know that are facts. The first fact is Ripple invested quite heavily into Flare, 100 million, maybe something like that. Don't quote me, but it was a sizable investment, one of the big investors in Flare, right? And I think that's where the XRP community should have a lot of peace of mind. Obviously, Ripple is very indebted to XRP as being their baby. Ripple has invested in Flare to best provide the means of DeFiing XRP, taking it to different levels of utility, taking it from different levels of economic improvements in terms of its yield. So I don't know for sure, but we know that Ripple invested quite a bit of money in Flare. And its stated purpose from the beginning was always about how do we get XRP to the next level, right, without having smart contract capabilities. The Flare team is very, very sharp. I have noticed it, and I'm sure, Whale, you probably have as well, where there have been many pivots, right? There's been many pivots along the way, and a lot of those pivots have had to do with capitalizing on the opportunity in the market. And I think that also may cause some frustration from some people because they just want the token out there and they want it to go moon and sell it and then, be done with it and go on to the next junk coin. That's not what Flare is. Flare is trying to constantly stay ahead of what's going on in the space, right? He talked about you can operate things on Flare through your Zamin wallet. Well, that's through account abstraction. Right? That's how you do that. It's account abstraction. It's in the behind scenes, the stuff we don't need to see. It's doing it for us, right? That, again, that's a pivot. That was never part of the original plan. The protocol managed wallets, the TEEs, these are pivots. And so I think that's one of the things that the XRP community can be very, very comfortable in, is that Flare is not going to take a just straight line highway, because if the money and the opportunity and the technology and the space to deliver a better, more secure experience, if it exists, Flare's probably going to make its way over there, because now you've got a final finished product that's always cutting edge ahead of the curve. So that's something that we do know. We know Ripple invested in Flare. We know Flare is taking its time to make sure they build a safe, secure protocol for its users, because even me as a small retail guy, I'm given the same protection in accordance with the institutional guys, because that's who Flare is going after. Anybody who's working institutional is going to get retail money, but not retail go get institutional. Not anyone can go knock on an institutional door and say, "Hey, give me your money. Let me use that money in our protocol." So.
Wow. So you said they're going after the institutional money? But now, do you think that once they get that the little guy will no longer be able to participate, or is this something that like, because I see XRP and the XRP ledger as providing the useful tools for people to be making their own, businesses using the tools. So now is Flare kind of doing the same thing, being that they're kind of associated with Ripple in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think the retail guys is always going to be like this. Like these tools, these protocols, they're built with us in mind. I think when you start talking about institutional money, and then you're talking about a different layer of security, things of that nature. But the actual things that Flare is building it's built for the retail investor or the institutional investor. What's attracting the institutional investor is the safety, the security, the audits. Those are the things that are attracting the institutional money and the relationships. Again, to get into an institutional discussion, it's a lot easier with a Ripple or a Centaura, those guys who have those relationships already. It's a lot easier to get the institutional money when you've got people who've already been sitting in those rooms with them, right?
Right.
But the product, the protocol, all that stuff is built. It's built for us. So no, we're never going to be pushed out. Our money matters just as much as the institutional money on Flare.
See, and that's what I love. Sorry. Go ahead, Whale.
Yeah, something that I would like to add to what Steve just said is that I do feel like Flare is pivoting more into institutional clients. That does not mean that retail won't be able to use it. It's just that, for example, on the DeFi front, I'm seeing much more complex financial products being pushed on Flare networks. And that means that, like I said, just watching a 10-minute YouTube video won't be enough for you to keep up. Now, another aspect that it's important is that right now, as a small fish, you can make an impact on the network. And once the big players start coming in with the big money, your $2,000 in a liquidity pool is going to be insignificant. And I think that is the opportunity that we have right now, that no matter how small your backs are, you can capitalize on the opportunity, because at some point, people are going to start bringing 100 million XRP, 200 million XRP, or whatever. And then, your 1,000 XRP are not going to be making much fees, won't be making much reward Flare. So, I don't know. I feel like crypto pays for people that are paying attention and rewards people that are paying attention. And the other thing that I would like to say is, in the same way that you hear the maxis talk about Bitcoin being the only crypto and everything else is a security or a shitcoin or whatever, and you're like, guys, this is not 2010 anymore. And like Steve was saying, crypto, it's evolving and moving at such a fast pace that Flare has pivoted many times. And they're not pivoting because they want to change the rules of the games. They pivot because they realize that the plans that they made 5 years ago are no longer relevant to the current space. So they need to change their strategy to keep ahead of the curve. And I think that I see a lot of people on the XRP community that they are stuck in the narrative from 5 years ago. So I'm not saying go put all your XRP tomorrow. That doesn't mean that you don't close your mind and don't even test it. Like I said before,
baby test.
Put $5, test it out, learn it, and then scale as you feel more comfortable. This is the future of finance. We hear Ripple, we have every single institution talking about DeFi. This is your opportunity to learn. Even if you don't want to touch Flare ever again, those $5 spent, and not spent you lose them, but those $5 in taking the time to learn, it's going to be the difference between the ship sailing and you're staying in the dock, or you jumping on the ship and going with them. So, yeah.
I would like to, my co-host is here. So I'm going to bring him in the show. Simon Says, welcome to Dipito. How you doing?
Thank you, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Great. How we doing?
Oh, good. Life throws you curveballs and lemons, and I've been listening to the show on again and off again tonight. Great stuff. Very great stuff. Well, I am so happy that you shared about the mindset of 5 years ago. Melissa definitely talks about uh, not getting trapped in your box on the Dipito show quite frequently. And I think that's relevant. We should definitely be looking at how has the space changed overall, and is my thesis still relevant in it? And I love that, man. Thank you for doing that.
Welcome. I'm glad you were able to pop in. So we have about 40 minutes left and 45 minutes left. I do want to talk about FXRP. And then I know that Whale has a little demo that he would like to show us for us to kind of look and see what we're able to do. I know, Steve, you've been mentioning a couple of times too that you can convert from the Zaman wallet, which I'm like, my eyebrows are raised. You see my eyebrows like up here? I'm like, oh, I did not know that. So before we get into the demo part of it, can you guys just explain what is FXRP then? And then just, we've been kind of talking about it, but let's just like elementary, how does it let XRP holders move their assets to Flare to access the DeFi features that we're going to learn about here for like lending or staking, all without selling their XRP. So whoever wants to take that, you want to go first, Steve, and then we'll go to Whale.
Sure. Yeah. So the very important thing is the thing you just mentioned. Don't need to leave your Zaman wallet. You can do all these in your Zaman wallet. You can do all this from your Ledger. I can do all this from my Bifrost or my MetaMask wallet. Wherever I hold my XRP or my crypto, I can do it right in that wallet, right? So, the very simple process that we have today is we take our XRP and then we mint FXRP. And I'll let Whale get into the specific technical things of that nature. I'm just going to do high level. We mint FXRP, which obviously is the synthetic version that would operate on Flare network. We're able to take that FXRP today, and we're able to use it in different dApps on Flare. Tomorrow,
dApps are decentralized applications, correct?
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
Decentralized applications on Flare. Yes. Lending platform, borrowing platforms. Yes. Perps. And we're able to take that today, and we're able to lend it to a platform like a Kinetic and earn another 5%. Probably tomorrow or sometime within the next week or two, Firelight will be open and available for us to stake our XRP and earn some yield on that. And then we're able to take that staked version of the XRP and use it over on Flare into a product like a Kinetic and earn another 5% over there. And then we're able to do some other things as well. So I don't want to get too deep in that, but essentially our FXRP is a product that allows you to use it and earn yield on Flare Network. So I'll turn it over to Whale and let him take it from there as well.
Thank you, Steve. All right, so I'm sharing my screen, and then we can talk about it.
Oh, okay. So we want to go there. Okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it real big for everybody to be able to see, okay, while you're talking.
Perfect.
There we go.
All right. So this is the interface that we use. It's FAssets at .au.cc. And here's your main dashboard for the FAssets. So I'm going to mint, and then it takes 5 minutes to go through. So while we wait, I can explain everything else, if that's okay. So for this demo, I'm using Rabi wallet. This is a super easy wallet to set up. You download it on your extension, like as an extension on your browser.
What is it called? Well, I've never heard of it before.
Rabi wallet.
Rabi? R-A-B-I? Okay.
Here, let me show you.
Thank you.
This guy.
Oh, okay, Rabi. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. My recommendation, and yeah, we can go into wallets in a second, but create a wallet, send a few XR or a few Flare, test it out. I do not have all my value on my browser wallet. Like, no way, this is too risky. But whenever I need to do operations or demos, this is great because it's super fast and easy. All right. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to connect my wallet. And then it's already connected. As you see, I don't have to sign anything. I just say connect. And then the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to connect my Shaman wallet. You cannot see my Shaman because it's on my phone, obviously, but I'm pressing the blue button in the center, and then I'm going to scan it, slide to accept. I sign the transaction, and now I am connected on both the XRP ledger and the Flare network. Okay. So
can I pause you right there?
Yes,
so
please.
when you say you're connected to the Flare network and the XRP ledger, you're connected to the XRP ledger through the Salmon wallet, and you're connected to the Flare network through the Rabby wallet.
That is good. That is correct. Yes.
All right. Awesome.
So like I was saying before, XRP ledger is different than the Flare network. So the wallets are not necessarily compatible. If you want to have the same, like one wallet with everything, Bifrost wallet is a great option. This one, you can have XRP and you can have Flare, and then this process is even easier.
Okay.
This is a new wallet for XRP, so you need to have, what is it, 2 XRP as a reserve, but it works the same as Shaman. This works really well. All right. So I'm going to go to Mint, and while we wait, I can explain everything else. Okay. So you can see that I have 15 XRP in this wallet, and I have 1.19 or 1.9 Flare. So I'm going to press Mint. I'm going to do one lot. Each lot is 10 XRP. I'm going to be paying... Hold on, I need to send a few more.
So is that the minimum that you can do is 10 XRP?
That is correct.
Okay.
Let me.
And can you only do it in lots then? Per
yes.
10 lots. Okay.
Yes. Let me send me a little bit more Flare.
This is awesome because I'm going to be able to watch this back and learn how to do it myself.
All right. You will see that this is going to change in a few seconds. All right. So Mint. We're going to do one lot. Next. And then the first thing, I'm going to sign here.
And this is in the Rabby. This is in the Rabby wallet.
Rabby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next thing on my Shaman wallet. I actually haven't done it from Shaman, so we're going to figure it out together.
Fantastic. I love it.
So basically, the first transaction, what is happening is that I'm reserving the collateral to Mint. And then on my Shaman wallet is asking me to sign a request. And I'm going to send 10.01 XRP. So the 0.01 XRP, that's the fee that you pay for minting.
Okay.
All right. I just signed on the XRP.
Is this similar? So like when you're saying minting, so like I know minting as I'm minting an NFT. So I am turning, I'm buying an NFT. So I'm putting my XRP then into that NFT, right? And so the value then is held in the NFT that I minted. So this
Correct.
is your XRP now, you're minting the FXRP. And so now you're holding the value of your XRP in the mint of the FXRP, correct?
Correct. So FXRP is a derivative from XRP. This is a completely different asset. So how this works, and this is when it comes back to the oracles, you send from your XRP wallet to the core vault. I can close this and come back. So this is the core vault. And if you go into the XRP ledger, you can actually find this wallet. So right now I send from my wallet to the core vault. The Flare data connector, which is one of the oracles that Flare has, verifies that I sent my XRP into the core vault. Once that verification happens, then that gives the green light for the agent to mint my FXRP. So remember that one of the problems that crypto is solving is the double spend. Is if I
Yes.
have one XRP on XRP Ledger, I cannot have that XRP on Flare. And if I have it on Flare, I cannot have it on XRP Ledger. So the core bolt, it allows the mint or the redeem only when the whole consensus of Flare agrees that that transaction happened. Either the deposit, so you can mint, or the redeem, which burns the FXRP and then releases this core bolt, the XRP, and then it gets sent back to you. Is that clear?
Yes. So I'm not clear on what the core bolt is. Like I've never heard of that before, but basically you're saying, so there is no double spending here. Once you take it off the XRP ledger, and then it's now represented on the Flare, and it is the value of the XRP is still there. And then if you want to go back, you never lose your XRP because you can just convert it back to the XRP ledger again, correct?
Right. So one of the reasons that Flare started with XRP is because XRP, as you know, has the escrow functionality. So the core vault is in a way a escrow, and that escrow has very limited functionality. Either it holds the XRP, it sends it back to the user when you redeem, or it sends to another wallet in an emergency situation. So nobody can just withdraw assets from the core vault. So it's a very secure system. And like I said, it's backed by the whole consensus of the Flare networks. So
it's a vault. Okay.
It's a vault. Yeah.
I get it.
It's using the escrow function of the XRP ledger.
Okay.
Right now we have 61 million, pretty much 61 million XRP on the Flare networks. This is insane. This is the most successful XRP product outside of XRP Ledger. The current cap right now is 70 million. And the reason that there are caps is because Hugo said that at the beginning, we started with 5 million. And what he said is, if we have any problems, Flare Foundation can cover the cost of those 5 million XRP. Then they went to 10, then they went to 20, I think, 35, 50, and now 70. So even now, once they're live, they're still doing it in a conservative way where they can make sure that the system is working and that if something goes wrong, that they can be responsible for it.
I see.
Right?
So as it grows, so basically what I'm hearing you say is Flare Foundation, they've kind of, I don't know if I want to say collateral or whatever, but insurance, so to speak, of 70 million XRP in the event that something goes wrong with that 60.97 million. They can cover it so no one will lose their asset, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So I don't know. I haven't heard it officially, but I think this is the last cap. So whenever we reach the 70 million, there's not going to be a cap, and that means that there's unlimited minting and redeeming. I feel like now that we're getting close to this number, we might start seeing some bigger institutions come in and play. All right. So we have this. These are the agents that we have. This is the reserve on XRP. So the ratio is 100%. And then we can add, so we have 60 million. And then between Flare and stable coins, we have another 23 million as collateral. So as you can see, between this and this, there is over collateralization to make sure that the minting and the redeeming of XRP can be secure. Okay.
All right.
So if I go to my pools over here.
Well, can I just speak on that real quickly for a second?
Please.
Yeah. So Melissa, the importance of what he just talked about with the over collateralization is very important, because the question is what happens? How do you ensure that my XRP doesn't run away? And the way that we ensure the XRP doesn't run away is through that collateralization that he just talked about, right? So if one of those agents decides, I got enough XRP. I think I'm going to retire, and decides to run away with their XRP. Well, that agent had to already put money up in advance to be able to even touch that XRP. So if that agent runs away, Flare already has their collateral locked up anyway, right? And that collateral would then be provided to the XRP holder to go back and get your XRP. So in the event someone ran away with their XRP, they still have Flare, they still have stable coins, in some cases maybe even Ethereum, that equal the dollar for dollar value and then some, right? I think 2.5 times was the collateralization, so that the user would still either, if they didn't get their XRP back, they'll get the dollar value so they can then go swap and get XRP. Does that make sense?
I think it does make sense.
So nothing is 100% risk-free, but this is about as risk-free as you can get, because in order for an agent to even touch your XRP, they have to have enough money locked in a smart contract that gives them the ability to even mint that much. And if something happens, it's locked. It'll be released and back to the user when they want their XRP back. So if that XRP isn't there when you want to redeem it and get it back, you'll get stable coins in Flare. You can go swap it for your XRP.
I see.
Yeah, like if I want to run away with $100 of XRP, but it's going to cost me 120, then why would I do it? That's I don't know if that's exactly the ratio, but basically, like for me to run away with $100 of XRP, it would cost me 120. So I might as well not do it.
Right.
All right. So as you can see, my FXRP has been minted.
Finished.
And you can see that I have it here.
Yep.
If I go to my assets, I have my FXRP right now. Right?
Yep.
And then I can redeem it. So I'm going to do one lot. Next.
Now redeeming, is this converting it right back to the XRP ledger?
Correct. So I'm burning that FXRP.
Yep.
And then that XRP from the core vault is going to be sent back to my wallet. Confirm. It takes a minute. And then you're going to see here I have 5.61. And you're going to see how this is going to move back to 10 or 15.59 or something like that.
So wow, yeah, this makes me feel more comfortable. It's always more comfortable when you see someone doing it in real time, right?
Process
all right,
complete.
boom, there it is. I can see it went to 15.59. All right, so it's right back in there. No harm, no foul. It was there. Now,
you see how fast that happened?
Very fast. Same with the Zaman. Yeah, when you do your thing, it's like, oh, it's right there. Yeah.
And then earlier, did you hear Whale say they were supposed to have his XRP back to him in 2 days, and it's been a week?
Yes, that was the MX RP, right? Isn't that the new thing right now?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So another thing that I want to, and this is extremely important, always navigate to DeFi protocols from the official sources. That means the Flare networks, the FAssets.au, because there are scammers everywhere. And if you open the wrong Kinetic or the wrong Spartex or whatever, you can lose your funds. So always make sure that you are navigating to the official, from the official links. What I recommend, go ahead.
I was going to say, can I ask a question so a newbie coming in, they're just starting to dip their toe into Flare. So if they look up Flare, will they be able to easily get to this website? Because FAssets.au, .c, that is like, so someone needs to do Flare network. So they need to know.
Flare.network.
Okay.
And then you would go to FAssets. And then this is the AU or the Oracle daemon. This is just the interface to mint is the same thing. So if I go here, we're back to the FAssets page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see my transactions, 10 to get in, and I paid 0.02 XRP to redeem. Okay. So once we are back here, I'm going to show you another way to get XRP. So I'm open. Spartex is one of the dexes that we have here. Launch app, swap, and then here, connect wallet, Rabi, connect. So I have 0.80 cents. I'm going to do max, swap, confirm. So now I have 0.33 XRP. So you were asking if the minimum is 10 XRP to mint. Yes. But like I said, you could bring in $10 and buy $3 of Flare, $3 of stable coins, and $3 of XRP, and then use those in different protocols to use it.
So yeah, so someone could, without spending their existing XRP, they
Correct.
could just go into this Spark Dex, and they would have to have the what was
you
it?
can do it with, you could do it with Flare. Like here, for example, I'm gonna buy, let's say 10. See, and I can buy 10 Flare. This is what, 10 cents right now? Confirm.
So WFLR is wrapped Flare, right?
Correct.
Well, don't be
And now
shortchanging us. It's 15 cents.
Okay, sorry, yeah, 15 cents. But that's all I'm saying. Like right now, I'm transacting. I have more XRP right now. I have 0.39 XRP. And I didn't have to spend any of my existing XRP to test it out. And that is what I was saying before. Start with a small quantity that you feel comfortable making mistakes, because that is one thing with DeFi. At some point, you're going to make a mistake. Like that is inevitable. So the only thing that you can do is keep the size of your position in a way that if you make a mistake, you don't lose sleep. Because in my opinion, DeFi is to buy us more time, not to take our sleep away.
Right.
Like if you're losing sleep, it's because you're excited, not because you're nervous.
Right.
And size is important, no matter what, whoever tells you that it's not. Size is the most important thing. Whatever you do it in a way that you feel comfortable and that you can make rational decisions. If you start sizing too big, you're going to start getting emotional and you're going to make mistakes. So like I showed you guys, this is less than $1 of XRP. Like if I wanted to go back to, I mean, I can buy Ethereum, I can buy Flare, I can convert to different stable coins. This is the staked Ethereum.
Can you come in? Can you come in with cash? I got with at this particular Spark Dex, or do you have to have that some other way? Is my question.
Yeah, you would. Well, even if you could, you still need Flare for gas. So the best way is to go from a centralized exchange, buy $10 of Flare, send it, and then keep, I don't know, $1 for gas, and then the other 9 use them in different ways.
All right. So the steps are to participate in this. You need Flare, so you need to buy that from an exchange somewhere.
Correct. So you need this kind of Flare.
Yes. Where would one buy that? Where would be the best place for them to buy Flare?
Most of the main exchanges except Binance support Flare. So you can do Uphold, you can do Bitrue, you can do Coinbase, Mexi. Like most of the main exchanges support Flare. It's not that hard.
Okay.
And then yeah. And then also here on Spartex Bridge, same thing, you connect your wallets. And I think that the first lot of FXRP gets sponsored by them. So this is another option. This is another option as well.
I don't know what it means, get sponsored by them. What does that mean?
Yeah. So like, let's say that you connect your wallets, your XRP wallet, your Flare wallet, and then you bring it. The first lot, the gas gets sponsored by Spartex. Your very first
I got
FXRP.
you. Okay. So it's like a little gift to get you started.
Correct.
Okay. Nice. Nice. I like it.
I mean, we could go on for hours, but
yeah.
Okay, so I think that another thing that we could cover in broad terms is where is the yield coming from? And this is, like Steve said, one of the things that I hear the most. FXRP as itself.
Do I need
It's the
this still
same.
up? Do I still need the screen up?
Sure. Let me keep it up for a second. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me open this. So when you are on Spartex, I can show you this guy. So this is a liquidity pool that I have. This is the other DEX that we have, right? So here I'm setting up my liquidity between 215 and 250. This is the price of XRP against a stable coin. So where does this yield come from? I'm providing a service to people that want to exchange between XRP and stable coins within the Flare networks. So I'm providing my liquidity within that range, and that allows people to go in and out from XRP to stable coins without having to go to a centralized exchange. So centralized exchanges do the same thing, but they keep all the fees. This is a decentralized way where if I have liquidity and I want to deposit it into a liquidity pool, I'm providing a service and other people are paying me for accessing my liquidity. So in very broad terms, that's what you do in liquidity pools. Now, if you have borrowing and lending, here I can supply an asset and I can borrow an asset. So if you're supplying, you're providing a service where you're allowing other people to pay you for borrowing your assets. So if I had stable coins, instead of having it in the bank, I can deposit it here. And then if somebody wants to borrow that stable coin, they can pay you for doing that. And the way that they guarantee the payment is that they have to have more supply than borrow. It's a similar thing to what Steve was saying. So if that person is not paying back and the price goes down, then they get liquidated and then you get your money back. This guarantees that you get it back.
Well,
There are ways to do it. Go ahead.
Go down to the FXRP lending sections. Talk to that as well. Oh, yours doesn't. Yeah, talk to that piece right there.
Right.
The lending of FXRP. There you go.
Right. So the reason that this is an isolated market is because FXRP, as I said, is a new asset. And they have to guarantee that if for whatever reason FXRP goes down under, it doesn't take all the rest of the platform. So that's why they put it in a separated market. So as you can see,
is that because it's still kind of testing out?
It's like because it's new.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Because it's new.
Yeah, so like once it's graduated and it's proven itself and it's comfortable and all of that, then it won't be in an isolated market anymore. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Perfect.
if I borrow, like if you lend stable coins or if you lend the XRP, you want to make sure that at any point you can withdraw it. So
Yes.
Kinetic has to make sure that the math adds up. You can't have more people borrowing than there is to pay back. So that's why they do it like this. And as you can see, I pay 8.44% for borrowing stable coins against my FXRP. So I put $1,000 of FXRP and I borrow $500 of USDT.
Is that similar to like back in the day, like people were doing that with Nexo? And there were some other platforms that you could borrow. I think Celsius, you were able to do that as well, where you were putting up your Bitcoin, for example, and borrowing, USD from it. I don't know what happened there.
I stopped the sharing. Sorry.
It is. Whoops. Is it similar to that? To doing that?
Yes, it is. It's very similar. The hope is that we won't wake up one day and it's gone or they've gone under. But yes, conceptually, it is the same. It's a very similar thing to that.
Sorry.
But wasn't that completely centralized? Centralized service?
Absolutely. Yep. Both of them. Yep. Nexo, Celsius, of course. Yep. They were centralized. Yeah.
I think the problem is that I deposit my XRP, they deposit the liquidity, so I borrow, but then I cannot be sure that they're not using my XRP in an irresponsible way. So here, this is locked in a smart contract. And as long as I have more collateral than I have debt, then I'm good. If my collateral goes below the threshold that I get liquidated, and then I lose my collateral. But Kinetic cannot grab my XRP and go and do things with that XRP. And I think that is the difference.
And Kinetic, now, so I'm not familiar with Kinetic. Are they related in some way to Flare, or is that a separate group of developers that created the Kinetic platform?
Yeah, it's a separate. This is a protocol that is built on top of Flare as a borrowing and lending platform. So this is a dApp. This is what Steve was talking about, dApps.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, there's 160 million lent, and there's 22 million borrow.
Well,
so
can you
this
bring
rate?
real quick? Can you bring your screen back up again, real quick?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So he was showing that that isolated lending market, Melissa.
Yeah.
The one thing I was gonna, can you scroll down if you get a chance, Will, back to that FXRP ISO? The one thing I was gonna point out, like at some point in time, we're gonna have Firelight, right? Which is where we'll get to stake our XRP, right? And then Firelight is going to, for staking our XRP, they're going to give us the receipt token, which is the ST XRP, right? The staked XRP version. We're probably going to be able to come right over here, and if we want to, supply that just like we're supplying FXRP right now, earning 3.76% interest. That 3.76% interest you see on the screen there, that is being paid out in the form of Flare rewards. So Flare has set aside 20% of the supply to bootstrap the network, and a portion of that they're using it with FAssets. About 2 billion tokens, 2.2 billion tokens are being allocated to use with the FAsset rollout. So some of these decentralized apps like Kinetic have gotten Flare rewards to use for certain pairs or certain liquidity pairs or cryptos that they want to incentivize people to bring to that protocol. And in this case, FXRP, if I take my XRP, I stake it, I mint it, I bring it over here to Kinetic, I'm earning now on Firelight for the staking yield, right? And I believe somewhere 4 to 5% is the anticipated number. I'm coming over here and I'm supplying it. Remember, I told you Flare is about and, not or. It's about and. Okay. So here's another example of the and. So I'm staking it on Firelight, earning 4 to 5% interest, right? And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use it in this particular protocol, and I'm going to earn another 3.79% interest. No risk. There's no risk for me to supply my FXRP to Kinetic. So that's about 7 to 8% interest with really relatively no risk involved that I'm earning now with my XRP today versus what I was doing yesterday, which was nothing.
Wow.
Going well.
Well, and also, and like we often talk about XRP being able to borrow against your XRP, right? This is going to be that opportunity for in the future as XRP price appreciates. You very well may be able to, you need $20,000 for what the heck ever. And you pay yourself, but you're kind of paying yourself back with a minimal fee, right? You're paying yourself back. And as long as it doesn't, you don't come close to being liquidated, you will always have your XRP, right?
Absolutely. And well, can you pull up the Enosis CDP loans test environment real quick as well? Because that's exactly what you're just talking about right there, Melissa. So yeah, you can take your FXRP over to Kinetic, supply it, and you can borrow USDT. You can borrow some different crypto off of that. You can also come over to what Enosis is building. Enosis is building a collateralized debt stablecoin. So I can use my XRP or my Flare. I can use that to come over here and I can lend it out again for some additional interest and mint some stable coins. And then I can turn around and take those stable coins and I can use those in this protocol and lend those out. So yes, you're going to have multiple ways to be able to collateralize your XRP. You have the very aggressive ways and risky ways, and then you got the very non-risky ways that you can do that. But in here, right here, here's a second and third option right here where you can provide your XRP, earn some yield on it as well.
DeFi is,
oh, sorry.
DeFi is all about risk management, like understanding the risk that you're taking and then having a plan. And I think that people demonize debt or leverage. And then I would like to first separate that it's not the same thing, this kind of leverage, than trading with leverage. That's a very different story. Because those people that do 100x perpetuals, that's a completely different story than this.
No.
And as long as you're not borrowing more than you have to pay back, leverage can move you forward. Like Steve does real estate. How can you get forward in real estate if you don't take some kind of leverage? Leverage is healthy as long as you do it responsibly. So, for example, last year I wanted to buy a drone. Instead of selling my Flare, I took a loan against it. I bought my Flare or my drone, and then I've been paying it back slowly over the last year. With my DeFi activity, I pay back my loan. This year I needed to buy a new laptop. I didn't want to sell my XRP or my Flare. I took another loan. I manage it. I manage my risk. And we had the big liquidation last month, and I wasn't even close to getting liquidated.
Because you're using your own asset, you're borrowing from your own asset that you already have. In again, while there may be some fees involved in it, you're paying yourself back. You're paying
Correct.
yourself back. So we've got like 10, 50 minutes, and I hope that you guys can join us in the after space, because I'm sure there's a bunch of people in the chat that are just chomping at the bit to talk about this. And this is really for me personally, giving me that eureka moment. This resonates and reminds me a lot of what Simon, my co-host, talks about all the time. With borrowing from yourself, he does it with the insurance policies that you could buy and borrow against and that sort of thing. This is something similar to that. I wonder though, in terms of like regulations, in policies and procedures and things that you have to be careful about. How are these already good to go to where it's legal what they're doing and they're within the proper framework that is allowed for this, or is that still something that we're waiting for clarity on? Do you know?
I think Will stepped away from the computer, so I'll take that question. I'm not going to pretend to be a compliance expert, to be honest with you. So I don't know that I can really speak to what has been approved, what's acceptable, because every corner of the world we're in is going to be a little bit different, right? U.S. has its own regulation versus UK, those in Dubai. So. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that question. I really don't. I don't have.
I mean, that's the thing is we're beta testing all of this stuff. What I'm seeing and I'm hearing from you guys. I mean, this is an incredible opportunity because we are so early with all of this kind of stuff, and we know they're working on the regulations. We know that Flare, Ripple was supporting Flare through investing in Flare, right? They're building this out. Ripple is all about compliant in wanting to make sure that they're following all of the rules. So I wouldn't expect that they would be investing in anything that would be working against that. And so while I'm not sure that Flare Foundation could prevent someone from building on their network, like Kinetic, right? I mean, they've built on top of the Flare network, correct? They couldn't prevent them from doing that, right?
Right.
But it has to do with the people that have been in the space, that have been beta testing and using it, and the people that have been putting their money where their mouth is, because you do see all the money that's in there. And so, I mean, that's where my mind kind of goes with this, is that it is super early for these types of things, but what an opportunity. And we in the XRP community always talk about don't sell your XRP, don't sell it, because it's a tool and it's going to be utilized for a lot of different things. And I mean, this is one way that you could put your XRP to work for you, or tap into it without having to sell it. That's the big thing, without having to sell it.
And we're starting to see why they told us all along, don't sell your XRP. We're starting to see that. I think initially it was because we thought the price was going to 589 overnight.
Yeah.
I got that programmed into my calculator.
Right.
But I think we're starting to see that now, right? We're starting to see the utility of the XRP. And because it is such a stable asset, liquid asset, it has so many different use cases that we are going to see those be explored. For example, staking, the restaking, like Ethereum and the eigenlayer stuff, right? We've got now the ability to create stable coins that are coming, the ability to collateralize it and use it in other protocols. We also have the ability to use it soon as insurance, right? DeFi insurance and different insurance components. Hugo and Jesus from Centaur have talked about, there are so many opportunities from an insurance perspective where XRP can be the insurance, right? And so there are so many use cases and then some, and all the while we are using our XRP in these fashions, we're earning yield on it. So I think we're starting to see why they said, don't sell it.
Don't sell it.
So,
welcome back.
Thank you. Coming back to what Steve was saying, it is hard because every jurisdiction has different rules. And what I understand is that Flare being decentralized does not fall under any specific jurisdiction. What can happen is that you can be geo-blocked. So that means that users on the UK cannot access this platform. So that can happen. Now, having said that, I do believe that if we as long as you're not doing anything illegal, there has to be some pushback, because if we comply for everything, they're going to put us in chains and we're going to be living in hell. So the more people that are using these platforms in a responsible way, the harder it is for other people with other interests to say no, because this can be an option where instead of using your normal bank and putting your dollars and lose money, you can put it here and you can get paid for providing that service. So I do believe that everybody's situation is different. And like I said, I'm not advocating for anyone to go and put all their money and all their savings and all their leverage their house to put more money into crypto. Like, I would never say that, because my situation is different than anyone else.
Yeah.
But take the time to learn it. And that has to be the pushback that we have to do, because the more people are using this, the harder it is for other people to say no. And the more we don't use this, then they're going to force us to use their system, which is probably not going to be in our best interest.
Amen to that. I want to thank Trisso. He said he's been loving this. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you so much. This has been an absolute fantastic conversation. Somebody, Blue Bus Driver, said, taxes in this space does my head in. Still learning, but all the paperwork for taxes feels messy. Might be in left field. No, it's not in left field. It can be messy, and that's why wherever you're at, you need to be able to download all your transactions so that you at least know what you've done. And the Clinton Donnellys of the world can help you with your taxes. There's him and another guy named Mark something. I can't remember what his name is. Who is a crypto tax expert, that those two guys, but the Clinton Donnelly, he's pretty smart on the crypto tax stuff. So it's nothing to mess around with. We have a couple minutes left. I'm wondering about how you said you could loan out your assets. What would be a scenario where somebody would want to borrow my Flare or any other asset? What would be a scenario where somebody be borrowing that? And what's my assurance that I'm going to get it back?
Go ahead, Will. I'll let you do it, DeFi King.
Yeah. So if stable coins, for example, well, the thing is that you can have a bearish and a bullish strategy. So the asset that you borrow, that's the debt that you have. So if you borrow stable coins, you owe that amount of stable coins plus interest. If you borrow crypto, you owe that much crypto plus interest. So if you think that you're at the top of the market, you can borrow crypto, sell it for stable coins, and then it's going to cost you less to pay back. And if you think that you're closer to the bottom of the market, then you borrow stable coins. And then as the price appreciates, it's going to cost you less to pay it back. So what I see happening, and this happens again with the collateral debt position that Steve was talking about before, is you pay 5% for borrowing the money, but you're making 8% on that borrowed money. So that 3% is your profit. So that's basically what we're moving into, the world that we're moving into. That could be one. That could be one. Another thing is, like, let's say that you have, I don't know, $1 million of XRP and you want to buy a house. You have two options. You either sell $300,000 of XRP and you buy your house and then you don't have XRP, or you borrow, if you have $1 million and you borrow 300,000, then you can have access to your house and then you pay back that loan on your own terms. And then you still have your XRP. The moment that you finish paying back your loan, you have your house and you have your XRP. You didn't have to sell your XRP.
That's what the rich people do.
This is no different than, like, the fact that it's crypto and it has like different letters. It's really not that different than traditional finance. It's just a different way to do it, but it's the same thing. Like you have a home, you borrow against that home, you buy a rental, you pay back your debt with that rental income. And then once you pay back your debt, now you have two properties that now you can borrow against those two properties and buy another house, and then you pay it back. And that's the way that, like you said, rich people grow their business or their wealth. And this is no different.
Well, and this is an incredible opportunity for those, I always say people that are in crypto right now, you're special. You're learning about this stuff. It's an incredible leg up. Loans are tax-free, right? Yes, right. Loans are tax-free. And so for someone who doesn't have a lot of money and you're starting to dip your toe and buy some of these assets that have the potential to appreciate quite a bit in value over the course of the next 5-10 years. Or some people that even have longer, like you kids that are young, to be able to retire or whatever, just hold these assets and wait for them to appreciate. But to be able to borrow against them, you can slowly work your way up, like you just said, buy it, borrow against it, buy your house, buy a second house. Now you're building your credit, you're building your, what do you call it? Your value. I don't know where they talk the accredited investor status and all of that kind of stuff. Your net worth, you're growing your net worth, which then the bigger your net worth is, the more money they let you borrow, right? It's like a cycle. And so this is like a way for us little guys to get a leg up and educate ourselves on this type of stuff, to where we can actually achieve that in the future, right? And like Whale's saying, you start out with $5. You start out with $5. You learn it. You understand what you're doing. Take a little loan, a loan against it, like a small little baby loan. See how it works out. Don't go moving your bag over and taking a huge loan till you understand what you're doing. But yeah, definitely seems like so when you're taking a loan against, say you put your XRP, you took a loan against the XRP, and it is it's $2.50 right now. What happens if XRP shot up to $30 or something, just like or doubles? Let's just say it doubles. What happens
if it shot to $30? I would need to sell like a tenth of that XRP to pay back my loan, and then I keep the rest.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's like the price of your loan doesn't go up. It's the amount. It's the amount of the loan itself and the collateral in the XRP then that you put up for collateral for the loan. And so it actually, if the price of XRP goes up, then it would actually be a good thing, right? Because you can pay you pay your loan off like super quick. It's not like where, I mean, I guess it was people were having the issues where, like when they were borrowing against their Bitcoin, unfortunately, a lot of people were beta testing that, and Bitcoin dropped significantly in price. And so a lot of people that were doing that, they got liquidated from their Bitcoin because they borrowed too much value against their Bitcoin, and they didn't have enough money to shore it up. And so that is the risk of borrowing against. But I mean,
if XRP shot to $30 tomorrow, like a straight line, I would borrow some XRP. Sell it, and then wait for it to drop down to pay it back. Like that's what I was saying about the bullish and the bearish strategy.
Gotcha.
It just kind of depends. And like I said, do not borrow more than you have. Like if you put in $5,000, even if your crypto is worth $50,000, do not borrow more than $5,000, and then you're fine.
Yeah, don't do it.
Like that's the thing, is that a lot of people, the price starts going up, so you're like, oh, I can just borrow more money and more money and more money. But then there's a point where you're over leveraged because you put in 5, and sure, your bag is worth 50 right now, but that doesn't mean that you can just borrow 40 automatically. And that's the part about risk management and being responsible, because like people demonize debt, but it's more what you do with it. It's what makes it successful or not.
I'm going to send you guys, I just put the link. We've literally got like 1 minute left. Final thoughts. I'm sending you both the link to the after space in the event that you guys are able to join us. I also put it in the chat for everybody. Do you guys, let's start with Steve. Do you have any final thoughts for the DeFi audience?
I do. First of all, again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm an XRP hodler, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. But as an XRP community member, we're just here trying to find ways to make it easy for you to participate. And if you need help, reach out. That's what we're here for.
Fantastic. Señor Whale, final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a great journey. Since I found crypto, my life has improved so much, and it has not only been because of the economic aspect. I mean, when I started with XRP, 1,000 XRP was worth $220. Right now it's $2,500, so that should say enough. But it has been more like me learning and the discipline and the struggling and the like really having to up my game to become a better a better person, a better investor, become more responsible, more disciplined with my money. And I think that that's what, like the discipline that gets you from 0 to 1,000 to 100,000 is the same discipline that will get you to a million. It's not the luck, and it's not just getting the money. It's really knowing what to do it and how to grow your wealth. That's going to get you further. So this is a great opportunity, guys. It's not easy, but anything that is worth in life is not easy. So interested, start. There's no better time to start, even if you're worried about legislation. Like I said, start with a small amount, learn the ins and outs, because when this is obvious, the opportunity is going to be gone.
Don't sleep on it. Okay, guys, I hope everybody sees us in the after space. Thank you so much, Steve, Flare Specialist, and Señor Whale, Flare Forward. Guys, join us in the after space, 10:10 on X. See you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Step right up, let's take the dive. Crypto world is coming alive. From XRP to the blockchain beat. Join the crew where pioneers meet. Got builders, dreamers paving the way. Multi-chain vibes, we're here to stay. Wanna know? Don't wait, let's go. Dip a toe, join the Web3 flow. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's